Hello everyone, welcome back to Bits and Bob's Divination. My name is Caitlin, and today we are going to be diving into your career, into your jobs, into your finances to see what energetic shifts, messages, and insights are on their way in for you. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Alright, so welcome back, my beautiful kindred spirits, and anyone new who may be joining us here today. We are going to be looking into these piles, like I said, for career, for jobs, for your finances, prosperity, and the energy surrounding those over the next couple of months, as well as any advice and messages coming in from spirit. So do feel free to get settled and get ready for this reading. But before we start looking into the piles, I just want to let you know the ways you can support this space. It really does make a difference. So do feel free to check out the Kindred tip jar down below. It's a great way to just send something in, a little bit of appreciation if you'd like to. And it all goes straight back into the channel for equipment, for filming, for time, and for all of the energy poured in. So I really do appreciate that. You can also check out the private readings that I do for snail mail readings as well as digital readings. And I also have other offerings that you can check out on my Instagram down below as well. And you can see the extra little queer, magical, and creative things that I get up to over there. So those are some ways in which you can support the space. You're also welcome to subscribe if you haven't already. And let's go ahead and look at these piles. So for each of the piles, we have 3 different runes here. For pile number 1, we have the rune of Nauthiz. It looks like this. It looks a bit like off-kiltered X or some sort of little cross. So that is pile number 1. For pile number 2 here, we have the rune of Kennaz, which looks like a little less than or greater than symbol, depending on the way you look at it. So that is pile number 2. And then here for pile number 3, we have Perthro with this trapezoidal sort of opening up shape. It's kind of an interesting one to describe, but that is pile number 3. So before you start heading off to the timestamps, I always like to invite you to take a deep cleansing breath so you can really ground and center your energy and open up your intuition for these piles here today. So let's go ahead and take that deep breath here together. So, as always, there's no right or wrong way to choose your piles. You can choose all 3 of the piles, pick between 2, 1, flip-flop, change your mind. There really is no right or wrong way. All of the timestamps will be down below in the description alongside the chapter marks of this video. And like I mentioned, if you want to financially support this space as I continue to grow it, do be sure to subscribe, check out my Instagram down below, and all the different offerings as well as the Kindred tip jar. So thank you so much for all of the support. Thanks for being here, and let's go ahead and get started with pile number 1. Hello group 1, if you've decided to choose this rune of Nauthiz, then this is the pile for you. I'm going to go ahead and set it down so you can see it during your reading here today, because we are going to be looking into what's coming up for the next couple of months in career, in job, or in your jobs or multiple jobs that you might be working in right now, or just your career path and financial situation. So we're going to be looking into that, any advice and all of that coming through. But to start us off, I want to go ahead and start looking into your rune right off the bat, because I do believe, and I pulled these intuitively, that they do have an impact on the reading as well. And I feel like a lot of people who choose these piles tend to not know what the runes mean. So I'd like to give you an opportunity to seek it out and see what we have showing up here and see how it connects to your current situation. So like I said, we have Nauthiz. I'm sure I'm still saying it incorrectly, but it is about needs. And it says here necessity, essential or essentials, rebellion, crossed path, a difficult lesson, or a delay. I think it's important to also talk about how it connects to the rune of ice, right? As you can see, this is the rune of ice, which is all about kind of slowing down, feeling stuck, a stagnant feeling. And then here with Nauthiz, you can see that they've crossed the path. So I always think of this as about needing to cross a path to get to something, having to go through a difficult situation, or having to cross a river, cross a difficult thing, build a bridge to get to the other side. So I want to see how it connects in your reading, but that is what I wanted to at least introduce you to first off the bat. But we're going to start getting into the energy now. We're going to look with the charms and several different oracle decks, which will have all of this listed in the description down below. But we're actually going to start out with 3 cards, as I typically do with these readings, to seek out what is coming through for you, for career, for your financial situation, and for your job. So let's go ahead and see over the next 2 to 3 months, even the next few months, what is coming through. And I said few months, and then this one flipped. The 5 of Swords. So it could even be that it's a little bit longer than a few. It could be over up to even 5 months. Or 5 weeks even. But what we have showing up here is the 5 of Swords first off. The 5 of Swords, you can definitely see you're brewing something up, but I want to see more context to the situation, because you can usually see 3 figures here, and so more people are involved than just yourself, which is, usually, unless we're living alone or working just for ourselves, we have family or other people's needs to keep in mind. So I do see that there's more people involved in your current situation. We also have the 8 of Pentacles. You're quite hardworking. I could even see that you've been maybe at a job for quite a long time, or are working multiple jobs at once. I can definitely see that coming in, because the 8 of Pentacles does showcase sort of a tunnel vision or really high focus sort of energy. And then also having all these different potion bottles that they're putting and mixing in is making me think also that you might be working at multiple jobs, or you have a lot of skills to bring to the table as well. This is also the second card that we've had show up with you brewing something, right? They both have the cauldron in front of them, which represents something that you're brewing, something that you're trying to fertilize to grow, something you're putting in and trying things out and experimenting within. So you might be in an experimental phase as well within your the jobs in which you are taking up, or the current career job that you're in. Let's see. One more here. Do feel free to send your energy in through time and space. Always does make a difference on these collective readings. Wow, that one flew halfway across the room. So the one that flew across the room we actually have is Temperance, and it's also the number 14. So we have 5, 8, and 14. So we do have a succession of time going on. But this one does talk about a need for balance, and seeing as this one flew across the room, it really feels like you might be off balance right now, and this is really sticking out. But yeah, Temperance is all about balance, moderation, finding that personal homeostasis kind of feeling, right? Everyone has their own sense of balance. Everyone has their own sense of how much you can take on and how much you can't, right? We all have our different thresholds. And right now I feel like you might be pushing certain thresholds because other people are possibly involved in your situation, and that means you might have to be working a little bit harder, taking on more jobs, taking on maybe a little bit more than you possibly feel comfortable with, or what would be most useful to you, on a physical standpoint, on a sleep standpoint, on a even mental health standpoint. But there is something showing up here where things are a little bit off balance right now, or over these next couple of months you might be having to take on a little bit more load than you'd like. But the reason why you are doing it is for a more noble one, or a more important and impactful one for those around you. So I want to look at these cauldrons a little bit more, right? So in one cauldron, we have you sort of experimenting. You're dropping things into the pot. So the pot is to represent your career, your job, what you're putting into it. So I see you dropping things in, trying things out, experimenting, seeing what would happen, what explodes, what doesn't. How do you feel here? So it might be not even that you're taking on multiple jobs, but maybe you're taking on multiple roles within a job. Maybe there could be a shortage of staff. I could see that as well. A reason why there could be multiple people involved also, even in a solo career, or if you don't have a lot of people in terms of family or others that you're supporting right now. I could see that you are, over these next couple of months, maybe having to take on more roles because there could be job shortages. You might have to take on manager positions that maybe you don't, you're not currently at that state yet within your job, or maybe that's not exactly what you signed up for, but there's a need there that you're kind of having to take on. It's an essential foundational part of your job that you're now having to take on. So I can see that coming in as well, that some of you might have to try a few new things put on a few more hats than you maybe are used to. So that's something to keep in mind. It could be even a good thing knowing this ahead of time to sort of see if you start to notice those signs within your job, and if that's something that you're not up for, then that might be something to consider. Otherwise, and even maybe state outright. Otherwise, I could also see that there is an opportunity for you, if you're feeling nervous about taking on more than you had first initially set out to within your job or within your role, is to look for different resources, ask for help, or try to maybe brush up on skills that you're going to need by taking on these new hats. I will say that your pile is definitely making me feel a bit out of breath, which I feel like is connected to like the intuitive part of this pile. So I do feel like you're literally running out of steam. Like I can feel that. So be gentle with yourself over these next couple of months as well. I do think that what you're doing and taking on these roles aren't necessarily a bad thing for you. I think it could be a really good thing. I think it could teach you a lot of things and help you learn and grow. But I do also think that moderation, trying to find where that sweet spot and where your limits are, and stating your limits are really important too, right? It can be hard and intimidating sometimes to speak up, but I do think that's really important, and that's coming through, because we do have also that, the Five of Swords can showcase an imbalance within a work environment as well, right? One person taking on a lot where other people aren't, or there could just be like, right, they have all the swords, they have all of the resources and all of the things, and then these people are feeling a little bit confused, not sure what to do, right? So there's this imbalance that's showing up here. Instead of all working together to sort of grow something, it's feeling, just like there's an imbalance here. And I think that it could be happening within you, right? Something that is your own personal limits, or within like the coworker environment as well that's showing up here. So I want to see a little bit more information on this, right? So let's go ahead and look in with the thread bound oracle here, and see what's coming through for you. Maybe take a few deep breaths too, right? Like I said, I feel very like short breath kind of feeling, which I haven't felt like that all day. So it definitely feels related to the pile. So let's see what else you have coming in here over the next couple of months, few months, group one. For career. Okay. So, what do we got here? So, the first one that came up here is the artist. So we have creativity, ingenuity, and labor. Okay, so this has got more of that mixing colors, mixing things that don't normally mix together, and making sure that it doesn't become a muddy mess. I just immediately got like, when you just mix all the colors together and you kind of get like that poop brown. That's what we're not trying to go for, right? So we're trying to find what is like a nice mix. So you need to maybe, again, I do feel like there's this need to kind of push authority a little bit, and either maybe your needs aren't being met and there's a promotion that needs to happen, or a talk with an authority figure above you or something like that. There just needs to be maybe a raise, something to accommodate for how much you're putting in, because I do think you're not necessarily getting out as much as you're putting in, right? And that's what I'm getting here from the artist. It also could be that the things that you're trying out, the new hats that you might be putting on, are more creative. And that, again, maybe if you're not a very creative person at heart, or just intuitively and just intentionally even, it might be just the time to like brush up on some of those skills if you're a bit nervous about that kind of thing too. But we do have something about creativity showing up here, and I also felt that like labor feeling quite heavily. Like I honestly feel like, right, you're mixing things together, but then you see their face, and behind them they're working on something in the background. And I really do feel like that black sort of cloud is again that trying to find a balance between that, where is it worth it? Is the money worth it? Is the time that you're putting in worth it? And if it is meeting those needs, if it is something that is important for you, then it might just mean that other things need to give, right? Either that's to get a raise or to get more money, or other things, and something needs to be stated so those needs are met. Other things that are showing up here, we have the Ace of Thread, Fiber. Whenever I see the thread too, it reminds me a lot of the Sword cards, which have a lot to do with communication. Ace of Threads have a lot to do with, or just aces in general, have a lot to do with something that's new, right? So a new thing that's coming in. So if we're talking about communication and a new form of communication, it also means that a new line of communication might be coming in. So maybe a new manager or new authority figure is coming in, and that's why these changes are happening. So again, knowing these things ahead of time can help you to understand what's clicking into place, and how you're having this knowledge ahead of time can help you versus, in hindsight. We also have wandering, warmth, and gentleness. So like I said, if this is a new authority figure coming in, yes, they might be kind of giving you more because of shortages or other needs that are coming in, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they aren't compassionate or understanding for all of you here. It is a collective reading, so take what resonates and leave what doesn't. I know not everyone has the best boss or the best manager or authority figure over them, or even if you're working for yourself, right? Sometimes we need to be more tender and gentle with ourselves. And there's an opportunity for that to come through for you over these next few months. I also, for whatever reason, because it's a thread, it's reminding me of like a phone cord. And so I really do think that like these conversations might be happening over the phone, maybe because it's a remote job, or because it's over the internet, or it's over text. So also making sure to be very direct. I know a lot of things can get missing, especially within texts or emails, right? A lot of things can get lost. So if you can have like a heart-to-heart conversation with someone, I think that's going to be even more useful for you to talk to someone like head on, or face-to-face versus over the phone, over an email, over a text, because I think your needs aren't going to be communicated near as well. So that's what I'm getting here, but I want to look now a little bit further into what it is that Spirit is giving you as a bit of support, as a bit of advice moving forward into these next couple of months. So I want to pull just a couple of cards here from Lenormand, but I'm definitely curious to see what we're going to get here from the Song of the Grandmothers deck. It really felt like it was going to have some impact here, but do feel free to ask Spirit, ask your guides, your gods, your higher self, your future self, that bird you saw on a walk, whatever sense of spirit that you wish to connect to right now. We're going to see what's coming through from them, or any signs maybe even that you've been seeing, and seeing what they have to say about career over these next couple of months. So do feel free to invite them in. Okay, more about skills for sure. There is something about brushing up on your skills, brushing up on a resource even, and reminding yourself of the resources you have available to you. Maybe talking to a coworker who can, brush up those skills or help you along that path, because we do have a key showing up here. So I do think that and I'll hold this one up as well. We have the number 29 as well as 33, and of course you also got the 8 of Pentacles showing up here, or the 8 of Diamonds, and then you also have the Ace of another Ace, but the Ace of Swords. So again, more of that communication and those skills that we were talking about. So these feel directly connected to someone, maybe a coworker, someone again an authority figure, or maybe even someone outside of work that has maybe worked in the same line of work as you, someone who has a little bit more of that wisdom and knowledge who you can talk to, because there's an opportunity, a key of information to unlock from them right now that could be really useful, because you can see they have the skills, they have a lot of wisdom in that, and it's about really connecting with that resource that you already have available to you, or may become available to you over these next couple of months, that could really help you along your path. Just don't underestimate the free resources that you already have available to you, and that you're not alone in this too. You might have coworkers who are going through the same thing and having to take on a little bit more, and maybe you even have skills and things that you could teach them and help everybody rise up together, right? Like I was talking about how everyone could work together to make this pot bubble and boil in a really wonderful, healthy way, versus kind of having to section it off and everyone getting kind of discombobulated. So like I said, we're gonna go ahead and pull your final card here of the Song of the Grandmothers, and then do a casting of the charms to get those last little very particular details. So if you are enjoying the reading though, do be sure to give this video a like or a thumbs up. It would really help the channel so much, and I do really appreciate it, so thank you. But let's go ahead and see what's coming through for you. Group 1. What does Spirit want to tell you over these next couple of months about your career, about these jobs that you're taking on, these resources? Okay, interesting. So you got Grandmother Hummingbird, Joy, and also on the bottom of the deck you had Celebration as well with Grandmother Firefly, which felt important to show to some of you. But we're going to talk about Grandmother Hummingbird with Joy. Hummingbirds are also very quick, right? If you think of a hummingbird, they're very fast. They move very quickly. So like I said, these next couple of months do feel like they're going to kind of feel very quick, or you feel like you're just taking on a lot more, so things feel a lot quicker, moving a lot faster. But I do see that coming through in general. But I do see you like finding a bit of joy in it when you start to figure out and get your groove, right? I do think that there is that celebration, that bit of success that's showing up here that is kind of, not being very much stated here, that it can also be a really good thing, right? Sometimes when we run a marathon, or what feels like a marathon to us, there's that like runner's high at the end of it, like that worth it kind of feeling. And I do feel like there is a lot of worth to putting in and like really hunkering down through these next few months. But we have Grandmother Hummingbird, Joy, and it says here also the number 17, but it also says here, happiness blossoms in gratitude and belief. It flowers for you. I love that, in gratitude and belief. There's a lot of like believe in yourself energy here that's going to grow, and that's what's going to help you with that joy and reminding yourself that you've got this, right? So I do think that Spirit is really on your side. There are a lot of resources still available to you. It's not all, this doom and gloom back here, but that balance is still needed. Those needs still need to be met, but I do think that they are going to be worth it to get to the other side of that river, to get to the other side and build that bridge. So yeah, very simple message, but a really positive one, a really optimistic one. So let's go ahead and see your charms and what they have to say here at the end. So let's see. Do feel free to send your energy in through time and space. And let's go. Group 1, those last little details. Okay, so we got a couple of really interesting charms, ones I was not expecting, but what I want to talk about right off the bat is the one that's showing up here. So we have over the top of the artist with creativity, ingenuity, and labor, and then also next to the woman here, or the person that was working on that skill, we have between both of them a really interesting, I've never seen these charms come up together like this, but we have the dog charm. This is a previous dog that I've had in my life named Cody. It was a childhood dog, in case childhood represents something for you here. And then we have it kind of intersecting and connecting with the reindeer, and the reindeer is all about believing in yourself. And if it doesn't even want to come off, they're definitely together here. So yeah, we have the reindeer. The reindeer is about believing in yourself. And then also you might just have someone beyond the veil that is speaking to you and trying to give you a bit of that encouragement. And maybe they are even that person that could be helpful to find some of these skills within, in terms of like someone who is in your lineage and your family line. But I also do see that maybe the reason why you're working so hard is for someone in your family or someone you really do care about, because we have the charm showcasing, a person who I personally really care about. So I could really see that being also the same for you. And they might even be a really great encouragement for you over these next few months too, to kind of keep you going. So looking for them as that light at the end of the tunnel kind of feeling, showing up here. And maybe they'll even give you some creative advice. Other things that are showing up here, we have the self-care charm showing up here on the hat of the 8 of Pentacles, right, where they're brewing and mixing things up. And then we have self-care kind of sitting up here on a shelf, right? So make sure that you give yourself some tenderness over these next few months. Take some of your weekends off if you need them. Not always take on every, invite that you're given if you don't feel up for it. I think that's super important to look after yourself. And then also on the key, we have the, I always think of this as like kind of two different feelings, right? So this kind of looks like a bunch of little berries mixed together. They feel like little berries or something that are really tasty and yummy and good, and like a harvest. So I do see with the key, like you're going to harvest a lot of really great ideas and advice from this person, but also it does showcase a chaos feeling, right? So they might also unscramble some of those thoughts that you have going on right now too when you open them up to them, right? A key is also, it goes both ways, right? You can use it to open an opportunity, but you can also use it to lock yourself in. So I do think that opening yourself up is really important, and opening up all those chaotic thoughts you might be having about the situation is really important too. So overall, that is your entire reading. I do hope this was useful and helpful to you for your next few months. Do let me know in the comments down below how it resonated for you. I love hearing your guys' thoughts, and let me know by hitting the like button. It really does help the channel, so thank you. And if you'd like to, I put out new readings every single Monday, so if you want to, do feel free to subscribe, and you can see out the other pick a card readings that I have on this channel already, or you can see the ones that are coming in the future, as well as educational videos on charm casting and tarot itself. You're also welcome to check down below for the Kindred tip jar if you'd like to support the channel even further. That all goes straight back into the channel for different oracle decks, charms, and other things, as well as equipment. So I really do appreciate anyone who sent anything in through there. But you can also check out ways in which you can get a private reading through private snail mail readings and digital readings. So do feel free to check all of that out. It helps the channel, it helps to support this space, and I really do appreciate it. But thank you so much for just hanging out with me here, and I hope that you have a wonderful next few months. Do take care of yourself, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye. Hello group 2, if you've decided to choose this rune of Kennaz, then this is the pile for you. We're going to talk about this rune here in just a moment, but like I said, we're going to be looking into your next couple of months, few months, to look into what is coming in, what shifts and changes might be coming in for career, right? So this could be within your jobs, within your finances, within your career path and where you're heading, how you're feeling about it, all sorts of things, all the things that connect there. We're going to be doing that using the charms as well as several different oracle decks, and the tarot deck of choice today is the Everyday Witch Tarot. All of that will be listed in the description down below. But let's get started into your rune. So I always like to talk about the rune that you've chosen because a lot of people don't know runes, and if you do know runes, then you might already know what you've chosen here. But I did intuitively choose each of the different runes for the piles, and you got Kennaz, so I want to see how it connects to your reading. So here we are with Kennaz. This is a little book that I ended up making on each of the runes, and this one is about the torch or the hearth fire, with creativity, inner flame, opening up, action, work ethic, illumination, and tunnel vision, which are a lot of different things, right? They go in many different ways. I tend to see this as like, right, that fire. It's just like really gets things going, but it can also illuminate your path through the tunnel. It can also show you your direction, and it can also be a place in which you can add things to for that work ethic feeling. So I want to see which part it really connects to for you. Maybe you'll see it more as that big bonfire, and others of you will see it as just getting that spark going. So see how it resonates for you as we move forward. But we're going to start out first with the first 3 cards to showcase the energy coming through most over these next couple of months. So do feel free to send your energy in. Do feel free to get cozy and ready to go for this, and we'll go ahead and get into it. So feel free to send your energy in through time and space. Let's go, group 2. What do you have coming in for career, for your job, for multiple jobs, for where you're heading, and any shifts that might be changing financially for you? Okay, over the next few months, group 2. Also feeling this bottom card. Okay, so we have the 8 of Wands and the Hermit. The Hermit's an interesting one. It can showcase that you might be doing something entrepreneur or small business, doing something on your own, going solo on a project, doing something that you haven't done before, maybe by yourself without other coworkers. There's a lot of things, but it's mostly about doing something, a solo project of some sort. And then we have here the 8 of Wands, which showcases kind of a twofold energy. In some ways it can showcase, right, like you're the one wielding this tornado, you're the one wielding it and making and bringing the power and fueling it, which with that Kennaz energy can totally make sense. But on the other end, it can also showcase burnout, right? At the end of this, they're going to be so tired. So there is something about a bit of balance coming in here, but I want to see the last final card here to maybe round things out. What missing information do we have towards this picture here, group 2, for the next couple of months? Interesting. So you have the 10 of Cups. The 10 of Cups is what I like to call the idealistic fantasy version of what we hope for, right? We see the 10 of Cups, this beautiful family sitting on a picnic, doing, enjoying their company, enjoying their time, feeling, very well fed. They have all of their needs met. It's really good, like financially, emotionally, it's a really great place to be. And this isn't possible for you or is a fantasy, a dream realm, but it does seem that it's something that you're working towards, and that maybe it's just a reminder. I'm even getting just that it's a reminder that is what you're working towards, or that is the purpose of why you're working or what you're doing doing your job and things for. Very similar to group 1 in that respect, and the idea of like kind of working for a specific purpose or need to be met. And so for you, that's maybe just simple things. You just want to be well fed, and you just want to have a full fridge, and you just want to feel emotionally like you're okay because, these bottom tier security needs are met. And maybe the way that those are going to be met for you is taking on something maybe more solo, taking on a small side gig, possibly, maybe something you've always kind of wanted to, or felt like it was kind of outside of your realm, or things that you haven't done before, but you're ready to kind of wield something new. The 8 of Wands also is a very quick-paced, powerful message too. It can usually showcase like a lot of forward, quick energy. It's not always the most comfortable card, right? Because like I said, it can showcase that burnout. So I do think over the next couple of months, you might be really having to push hard to make this happen. Maybe you're working more hours, or like I said, you're doing that side gig to get things done. But I do think, like I said, it's for a main purpose. This is very similar to group 1. So if you're not sure if this is your pile or if it was group 1, then do feel free to check them both out. But I do think we need a little bit more information here. But before we do go ahead and pull those cards, I do want to mention too that the very middle card that you got actually shows, a hearth fire, something growing, that campfire, that just starting to kind of grow something. So I do think that maybe the specific new side gig or whatever it is that you might be taking on solo is a more creative project for you, or something that requires a little bit more work ethic, a little bit more of your time and your energy to keep it going, right? A fire can't sustain itself without someone there to care for it. So I really do see that that's showing up here too. Let's go ahead and see what else there is though. So do feel free to send your energy in. We're going to use the Threadbound Oracle here for some more information on this situation. Over the next couple of months, what's coming in career. Let's see what flipped out. So we have the Mountain. But let's see what else you have showing up here as well. Interesting that you'd get the Mountain as well. I don't know, I just had a feeling that you would possibly get that card. Group 2 here. Let's slow it down. There we go. Okay. We also have the Reader here. Interesting. So, okay, let's talk about the Mountain first. So with the Mountain, it says here, challenges, adversity, and endurance. So again, I got that endurance feeling from the 8 of Wands already, that feeling of like needing to sustain the fire, working maybe later hours, or having to get things done, having to endure a little bit more in a shorter amount of time, right? Over these next couple of months. And then also I was just getting the feeling of like all this smoke and everything. And I also, whenever I see this tornado and since using the Song of the Grandmother's deck, it just reminds me of like the idea of leveling the field as a tornado would, right? It's kind of leveling things back out. So I do think that things will level out after these next couple of months. that I don't think it's going to be something that is going to be there all the time. It might be just that that's the length of the project, or the length in which you'll be taking this on, or the need for it. But I do think that you're up for the challenge. I don't feel like this is a challenge in which you can't take. I think you might have to climb, a little bit higher than maybe you thought you had when you started, right? It might be a little bit steeper than you thought when you started, but I do think that you have it in you. You have the resources. You already have a lot available for you to make this happen, and that it's not an idealistic or something outside of your reach. It definitely is within your reach. We also have the reader, which I think is funny because I said it felt like a fantasy novel, a dream, something you'd read about but not actually happen to real people, right? But I don't think that that's necessarily a bad thing. And since you have the reader showing up here, it just shows that it's something that you maybe read about or something you thought about for a really long time or feels like is outside of your reach, but it definitely is within your reach. I definitely feel that like tingly feeling like, yes, you definitely got this. It may not all happen at once, but there's a lot of optimism with the sunflowers, the assertiveness that sunflowers bring as well. They also have more of that hearth fire energy of like, that really burning, bright passion. So I think what you're working towards, and this solo thing that you're going to be taking on over these next couple of months, or even thinking about taking on and just finally making those first steps to get the ball rolling, is definitely towards something that you're quite passionate about, or that really gets you going, right? There's this bubbly nature to it. But anyways, the reader says here, interpretation, choice, and agency here. So I feel like this one is a good reminder that there might be people in your life that are reading into your situation, and from their perspective, from their past experiences, from their past knowledge, the past things that they've read, right? They make their own interpretation on your life, interpretation on the dreams and goals and things that you're working towards. And I think that there could be a bit of pushback. There could be a bit of, someone kind of digging in a little bit more than they should into your personal business and your personal choices. And it's just a reminder that, right, like we're all going to see each other's lives differently. We're all going to make micro judgments and things and all sorts of stuff to try to push someone down one path or the other, even if not intentionally. But I do think that it's important that you read into your own situation with your own heart and your own soul and your own care and your own, what you know to be true, how you believe in your situation and what you're working towards to be true, that your passions and your goals and your dreams are worth pursuing, and that they don't really matter at the end of the story, right? The story is about you. The story that you're reading here is about you, not the person over your shoulder reading. And I think the other thing that just came through too is that it's important also that I feel like a few of you might be feeling like, oh, well, I don't really have a dream job. I don't really feel that idealistic feeling. And I feel like some of you might be feeling that. But I think it's important to talk about the fact that sometimes what we're working towards, sometimes the job that we have isn't our dream job, because maybe we don't have a dream job or it's not that important. But what's important is what we're working towards, why we're working, right? Why we're trying to get the financial security or the needs met in order to go after our passions, whether that's to create another side gig or some other sort of small business thing. Maybe that's just to make money to travel. Maybe that's to go on vacation, or to buy that couch that you've been wanting, or whatever it is that you're feeling very passionate and fiery about, that dream feeling. It doesn't have to be related specifically to your job and what you're doing at your job, but it can also just be that it's related to how those things that you're feeling passionate about get met, and that this is one way in which to get there. So maybe that's why you're kind of enduring it. So let's go ahead and see what we have coming in from Spirit now to look into the next couple of months and any advice that they have for you. So you might have a spirit guide you want to talk to and send and invite in right now if you'd like to. Your future self, gods, goddesses, spirit guides, angels, whoever you wish to speak to, your future self, do feel free to send them in. And let's see. Group 2. What do you have coming in, Group 2, for the next few months? Group 2 for advice. Okay, so you got 3, I think. Yeah, so let's see what you have here. So you have the number 16 as well as the stars. This one is all about navigation and using the stars to sort of map things out. So there is something also, again, about travel or mapping things out. The reason why you're doing what you're doing is for a much longer term plan. Maybe that endurance feeling has to do with a much longer term plan. We also have the Six of Cups showing up here. So you definitely have your heart in it. We have more of that dedication showing up here with the broom. This also has the Jack of Wands, or also known as the Knight of Wands, and the number 11, so a wish-making feeling. Whenever I see this one too, it's kind of a reminder to look at the wheel. This is like the wheel of the year, or the months of the year. The wheel's turning, right? We have that pressure of time, and it's just showcasing that endurance, that dedication to your craft, to keep things going, to keep things up, an upkeep feeling that I'm getting here from the broom. And then you also have more hard-working energy. There's a lot of like just keep going kind of energy going through here. Sustaining, keep going, keep moving. You're getting there, you're getting there. And it says the number 28, also the Ace of Cups showing up here. So more of an emotional reason in which you are going after what you're going after, right? Cups represent our emotions. We talked about that earlier with the 10 of Cups. So each cup that you build up, each each step that you take is going to be leading towards that 10 of Cups that you're going here. So like I said, it might be something more long-term that you're working really hard towards. So I feel like they're just honestly just being like, yeah, just keep going. Just keep going. You've got this. Just keep putting that log on the fire. Keep adding one more step, one more step, one more step. And don't rush it. I feel like it's definitely don't rush it. It's not going to happen super quickly. What it is that you're trying to work for, or the reason why you're working. But it's definitely working its way to you. That's for sure. So let's see one more here. And then we're going to be pulling out the charms. If you have been enjoying the reading so far, though, do be sure to give this video a like. It really does help the channel so much. You're also welcome to subscribe or leave comments or anything like that. But let's see. Group 2. Last message from Spirit here. What is coming in for Group 2 for career over the next couple of months, and any advice that you might have? Okay, so interesting. Grandmother's shadow awareness. I find this one really interesting since you got the torch, or that hearth fire, the fire. It casts more shadows, that fire does. And you got awareness, which is grandmother's shadow, right? So it's about kind of casting shadows, seeing things from a different point of view, and also integrating those parts, right? It says here, integrating your parts, unblocked light absorbs the dark. Shine on all of you. So I do see a bit of insecurity that might be coming in from this card, right? We have a lot of positive affirmations, really big, like keep going, a really optimistic attitude that's showing up here. But it's also showcasing that over these next couple of months, you might find yourself doubting in, the work that you're doing, doubting in the endurance, doubting in, is it worth it? Am I going to get there? The what ifs might start coming in, especially when, like I said, as that fire gets bigger, the shadows get bigger too. And so those shadows are something that you're also going to possibly have to face. And again, I don't think that they're, beyond your grasp to be able to face, but I think it's important for you to be aware that you might find some of those doubts creeping back in, previous doubts that you've had, especially if someone's whispering in your ear. So just being aware of that ahead of time can be really helpful to combat these, and to also look at those shadows as just another piece of the puzzle, and instead of shunning them away or saying, oh no, I didn't think that, or, pushing those emotions that you might have towards your situation away that might feel more negative. Try not to fall into like a toxic positivity kind of route, and rather integrate those back in and allow yourself to feel a little bit of doubt if you need to every once in a while. It's normal. It's okay. We all have doubt in, our abilities sometimes, and I think it's important to just accept those and welcome them versus try to lash out or push them away. Rather, shine that torch upon them. So let's go ahead and finish off your reading here with the charms. So these are going to look into those little small details here, and do feel free to interpret them however you wish. But do feel free to send your energy in first, and let's mix them up. So here we go. Group 2, career over the next couple of months. Okay, you didn't have a lot, but I felt really called specifically to that one. It just kept like creeping into my hand. And I think let's just talk first because we were just talking about the shadow. You got the eraser falling on the shadow card, which again, like I said, I feel like there could be a bit of that toxic positivity feeling. It also fell towards the number 9. But it feels like you're trying to like sweep it under the rug, like try to not show any weakness. And I think it's more important to speak to ourselves, to journal about it, to welcome in our weaknesses and understand them and allow ourselves to have faults versus trying to like push them away, because they just find a way of coming back regardless, and they only end up just getting bigger the more we stuff them to our toes. So trying to erase them I don't think is probably your best approach, but it's important to just be aware that might come up. You also have the busy bee showing up here. I mean, it feels again like a buzzing bee in your ear, like buzz, buzzing into your ear. So I feel like tell someone to buzz off, literally. I feel like you need to tell someone to buzz off, or to tell those who are trying to push and bring those doubts back in. It's important to, yes, maybe share to people who you trust, like that you might be doubting yourself, and to maybe get a bit of a pep talk and a reminder, and, or just to let someone help you integrate those shadows. But those who you maybe don't trust or might have that judgmental, less compassionate, a bit condescending attitude towards it is something to be aware of as well, and just literally tell them to buzz off, because that's what the charms are telling you. And then lastly here we have the manipulation charm, which fell over here on the next to the wheel. Like I said, I feel like you're trying to make things happen faster than they can. So again, slow and steady, a steady pace. It doesn't even have to be slow, but just find your pace and keep with it is showing up here. But then also with that feeling of overwhelm, that'll happen if you don't keep pace. So just keeping your pace is most important. That's showing up here with this charm. Otherwise, it's going to create more damage than you would like. And if anything, it's just going to kind of sidetrack what you're trying to build. So overall, those are all of the charms and cards here. I do hope it was useful for you. If it was, do be sure to give this video a like. Truly, it really does help the channel and lets me know. And also you can let me know in the comments down below. I love to chat with you guys and see what you think. And if you also felt that buzz off energy or other things, I would love to hear. You're also welcome to subscribe if you want to. I put out new videos every single Monday, and I have over 100 videos already on the channel for pick a card readings, as well as some educational videos on charm casting, tarot, art magic, and other things like that. So if you're interested in those, do be sure to subscribe. You can also check out the Kindred tip jar down below. It's a great way to support this space financially, and I really truly do appreciate it. It really helps me to be able to stay here on YouTube and keep this running. So do be sure to check that out, or the private readings that you can use to support yourself as well, to look into even more detail on this or another subject in which you're interested. So with all of that said, I'm going to go ahead and leave you here. I'm wishing you the best in these solo projects and in integrating those shadows and other things. I really do wish you the best over these next couple of months. Slow and steady wins the race, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye. Hello group 3, if you've decided to choose this mysterious rune, which we are going to talk about here in just a moment, then this is the pile for you. I'm going to go ahead and set it down here for you so you can see it during your reading here today. But we are going to be using the charms as well as several different oracle decks and the tarot deck of choice with the Everyday Witch Tarot, which I'll have all of this listed down below for your reading today. And this is going to be on career, any shifts, changes, energy that we need to know about, insights and messages coming through for career, for your job, for your financial situation, and those passions that might be intertwined within it over these next couple of months. So we're going to be looking quite far into, well, not quite far into the future, it could be much farther, but we're going to be looking over several months, which means that this is still changeable, a kind of changeable area, which I think is important to talk about specifically with your pile, because the rune that you have chosen here is Perthro or Perthro. I'm sure I'm saying it incorrectly, but it is known as the closet or the dice box. And it says here, the unknown, gambling, risk, the bigger picture, destiny and fate, hidden secrets and synchronicity. And it's the idea of destiny and fate, and that's what's coming through quite heavily with your pile already. Just from the beginning, when I was pulling these intuitively, I really felt that, like, you know, fate is literally in your hands when you hold that dice box and you're ready to cast the dice out. And so I really do feel that you're at a point, a very pivotal point, that might feel very pivotal, and you might try to take these really deeply to heart, all the cards and different symbols and things that we got here. But do remind yourself this is a collective reading, so take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Use your own intuition and see what comes through for you. But we want to look here. We're going to see what's coming through, because you have the unknown, risk, gambling, bigger picture items, synchronicity, and that destiny and fate feeling. So there's definitely something here that's kind of mysterious about your guys' pile, and I want to look deeper. So do feel free to get settled, get cozy, get ready for this reading. We're going to start out with 3 different cards here for what is coming in over these next few months energetically. So do feel free to send your energy in through time and space. And let's see, group 3, what do you have coming in for the next couple of months, group 3? The next couple of months for career. Group 3, within your job, financial situation. Group 3. Okay, so yeah, we got the 2 of Swords. Interesting, because sometimes I ask different decks which ones want to be out for these readings and which ones don't, and sometimes I ask them, you know, do you want to be out for this reading or not? And they kept pulling out the 2 of Swords for this reading, and I had a feeling it was going to come out today. And so having the 2 of Swords feels really does really feel like you're at a crossroads right now, right? You're at a crossroads in destiny and fate, move and change. There's just a pivotal feeling that you're kind of leaning on right now. And a lot of it is going to be about having to make an intuitive choice. But there is a bit of logic there, of course, but there's this intuitive, instinctual feeling that's coming through from this card that I think is really important to address as we move forward. But let's see what else is coming through here. Get some more context here. So we also have the Ace of Cups here, with these little like turtle doves chilling at the top. I love this. The Ace of Cups has a lot to do with like an emotional reason in which you are doing it. It feels like, honestly, I'm getting the like, why are you at your job? Like, why are you doing what you're doing? Is it making you feel content anymore, or is it that you want more from it? There's something that's going on here that's showcasing the reason why you're pivoting is because either you've lost the love for what you're doing, or some sort of emotional shift and change within this, that you're maybe recognizing that's been there all along, or is starting to just really build up. Aces also represent an opportunity for a new start, so that might be where that pivot is coming in as well. What else is showing up here for you, group 3? Group 3, do feel free to send your energy in as always. Group 3, a little bit more context here. It is definitely being mysterious. But here we are. Okay, the Knight of Cups. So we have both the Ace of Cups and the Knight of Cups showing up here. And another Knight. So this Knight is feeling really impactful and important for you. So yeah, it showcases the Knight of Cups here. And I do feel, like I said, there's this feeling, and then, okay, let me take a little step back here. There's this feeling, like I said, of being at a crossroads or finding yourself at like a stoplight, right? And it's like, do I go? Do I stop? Do I stick with authority and just keep up with it? Or do I take the risk and move through the yellow light, or heck, even the red light? There is this feeling of like, do I take the risk? Do I take the step? Do I take a new fated step, right? And it's not that you guys, again, can't make whatever decision you want to, that like destiny and fate isn't in your hands, because it really is. But I feel like you have an action in which you can take right now that is going to make a really big impact. So, right, turning left versus turning right, going straight versus, this or that. So there really is this feeling of like needing to make an instinctual, intuitive, gut feeling, gut-wrenchingly feeling. Like, I feel like it's going to be very strong that either a new opportunity is going to arise and you're going to realize that maybe you want this opportunity, maybe you want this new job, this new promotion, this new, a new step in which your career might take and pivot and change. And like I said, since this is a collective reading, it could be very different for each of you, but it does feel like there's this really big pivot and really big shift for you all. And honestly, seeing the Knight of Cups here shows this like really big go for it feeling. And it doesn't mean go for it in terms of like go for the new opportunity necessarily, but just really go with your gut. Really listen to your gut, because I feel like you're in your intellectual or very logical mind is going to try to really take over here. We have the crow here, we have the cat trying to see what you're doing, right? They're all like, I don't know if you can throw this, I don't know if you're going to do this, I don't know if you can make this happen, I don't know, maybe, and they're like jabbering in your ear like a little jabberjay. And I really do feel like there's a lot of freedom that comes from just finally making a different change. And it's going to be a very big one, but it doesn't mean that it's going to be necessarily life-changing to those on the outside, right? Sometimes life-changing things for us feel like small things for other people from the outside. So I don't know, I want to see more information here. I think there's just so much more we could talk about. So let's look in the oracle deck we have here with the Threadbound Oracle. So you have the Teacher showing up. Structure, guidance, legacy. Let's see what else. Okay. You also got the Seer, intuition, divination, foresight. I really feel like some of you are very intuitive people. I really do. And that Teacher feeling is making me think that like your teacher, you've had wisdom, you've had a lot of people tell you, hey, maybe you should do this, maybe you should do that. That logical mind keeps trying to talk to you and say, hey, I've taught you this. This is how we should do it, And I feel like they're just like jabbering in your ear. And there's something being like, no. Listen to that gut feeling. Like I literally can feel like your stomach, it's just like you can feel it, that there's something more, that you want something more here. It really feels that way, that there's more for you than where you're at right now, and that you don't have to feel pigeonholed. Like I just got this feeling of like feeling pigeonholed or held back in some way. And it might also be that what you're pivoting towards is even maybe a job in teaching. Like I said, for some people, we think life-changing things is like going towards something that's going to make you $1 billion, or something that's going to make you the top CEO of something, right? But maybe it's something much more simple than that. And maybe that's why there's this push and pull for you. But yeah, we have structure, guidance, and legacy over here with the Teacher. And then that Seer, like you already know the answer kind of feeling. We're not really getting a lot of context as to what this big like opportunity is that's going to like fall into your lap, but you're going to feel the tug, right? Having the foresight, knowing ahead of time that you're going to feel this nudge over the next couple of months. For some of you, it's going to be a quick conversation and like a quick, listening to your intuition, like you felt your gut like speaking to you kind of feeling. Others, it might be something over a couple of months that you're finally starting to listen to your intuition and it gets you there. So just take it with how it feels for you. But I want to look into some advice that's coming through from Spirit. So do feel free to send your energy in and invite your own spirit guides if you'd like to. So that could be the universe, gods, goddesses, spirit guides, angels, the fae, whoever and whatever you may work with. Do feel free to invite them in for this. And we're going to see a little bit more information on the advice they have coming through for you over these next couple of months in career. I'm going to get one more here. What advice do they have for you, Group 3? Group 3. Okay. Interesting. Okay, so we have the mountains with the number 21, especially since we have a lot of synchronicities here. Do feel free to look at the numerology that's coming here. So we have the 2, we have 1, and then we have 21. So again, more 2s and 1s, both at the very beginning of something and have a lot to do with even partnership as well, maybe partnering up with someone. As well as the 8 of Wands, which talk about like forward movement, which I think is interesting to get forward movement on such a stagnant card. This is the card of the mountain. It's feeling like you're at like, where am I supposed to go from here? I'm gonna have to build a boat to get around this mountain, to get around this cliff. I can't climb it. I can't move around it. How am I supposed to do I have to go through it? Right? So I feel like there's probably an obvious answer here, but you're like not seeing it right now, because it does seem like once you find the answer, it's going to move really quickly. And then we also have the Child, a lot of young energy that's coming through here with the Knight. They have a lot to do with feeling very young, that intuitive drive in us. You know, we feel that instinct grow at such a young age. And then the boat represents also setting sail. So we have both the Jack or Knight of Swords, and then the number 13 representing maybe needing to end something. 13 usually representing something with the Death card. So again, I do feel like some of you are making some really big shifts, literally mountain moving shifts, and you're definitely being shown like set sail on them. And I feel like Spirit's like, I've already told you this kind of feeling. Like for some of you who really speak with Spirit quite daily, or talk and really listen to the signs from Spirit quite often, I feel like if you haven't already, you're going to be hearing a lot of them in your ear being like, hey, like, you know, set sail, do the thing. You already know the answer. So I'm going to go ahead and look into your final card here, but we are going to move on to the charms here in a moment to get those last little details, which I always find really fun. But if you have enjoyed this reading so far, if you've gotten something out of it, do be sure to give this video a like. It really does help the channel to continue to grow. It really helps to support this space. So thank you, and you're also welcome to subscribe or leave a comment or anything like that. But let's see. Group 3, you've been quite a mystery, but yet also so direct. So I want to see what Spirit has showing up for you from the Song of the Grandmothers. What are they singing out to you today? For these next few months, what advice do they have for you? They're trying to give you a lot of them. Okay, group 3. Do feel free to direct your energy in. Okay, there we are. Let's see what has flipped out for you. Okay, we got, oh my gosh, this one felt like, literally I felt a wave of relief come from this card. Like I feel like there's such a pent up feeling in your gut that's just like, you know already, you know what you need to hear. You already know what you came to this reading even maybe to find. You already know maybe what this opportunity is, or what it is that you need to do next, that next action step. Some of you are still sitting at that stoplight, and even though you know what you need to do, you aren't necessarily doing it. But I feel this wave of relief from having done it when you do. So we have the Grandmother Ocean with freedom. That's the word there, freedom. And it says here, you can't tame the waves. Lose control to find freedom. Every drop is held. Lose control to find freedom. Like I said, that feeling of control is strong, is strong right now. And maybe you have every reason to feel that way. Maybe you don't want to make this change. Maybe it's going to be very bittersweet. Maybe even though you know this place isn't right for you, or this isn't the right fit, or it's not leading you to what you're looking for anymore, or there might be boredom, stagnation, or just general hesitancy. Like it doesn't even mean that you don't like where you are right now, but maybe you just want to move up higher, or change directions, or whatever it might be. Having fate in your hands is scary. It's a lot of responsibility. But I do think that, like, you know, Grandmother Ocean is just showcasing that the freedom that you gain from moving forward is going to be full of such relief, and it's going to give you so many more opportunities in the future than you were expecting. Also, this is number 36, in case that resonates for anyone. I don't think there's a lot to say on this. I feel like it's a very simple message. So I'm going to go ahead and move on to your charms, but do feel free to send your energy in through time and space. I definitely feel like there's a few in here for you guys today, so do feel free to send them in, and let's go. Group 3. Okay, so let's go ahead and zoom you in. Okay, so the things that we have showing up here, we have a few different things. Okay, so you know how we have the bird sort of sitting on this little bird, station, I don't know what they're called, like a little ledge for them to sit on. We have that showing up over here also with the parrot charm. And the parrot is talking about a lot of the time, like making sure that you're going on your own original path, that you're not just parroting someone or trying to do a parody of your life or a parody of someone else's life. Like you're trying to go and think with your own original thought, with your own foot forward, and not do it like copying or following someone else's footsteps. And it's showing up here next to the number 21 and then that mountain. And so I feel like the thing that's in your path over the next few weeks also, and maybe the reason why you're not wanting to follow in these footsteps or follow in your own footsteps, is because you might have pressure from other people. Maybe it's a family business, maybe it's an expectation or something else that's kind of like limiting you. And it's definitely creating, because this is linked also to that mountain range, to the pendulum charm. And the pendulum is a feeling of time not being on your side, timing not being on your side, but also this wishy-washy back and forth energy. And I feel like and that's very acute to the things we've already talked about with your pile. We have this grounding nature, so really being sure to ground in your emotions, your heart over your head, your gut over the logical thinking is showing up here more. We have that frozen. This is all about feeling frozen, feeling stuck, feeling that like clenched feeling in your gut even more showing up here. And we have it showing up next to making the step, being at the crossroads like I talked about, and the freedom that you could have on the other side. And it's just showing up in multiple ways. This also could talk about that this decision or opportunity maybe even came up to you previously. Maybe it's something that you feel like you've already passed, as it has a lot to do with the winter season. But those of you in the southern hemisphere, right, we're getting closer to winter. So for those of you there, you might be feeling timing-wise it's getting closer to you. We also have the 1776 Liberty Bell charm. Whenever I see this, it represents like not listening to the signs. Signs that you've been hearing over and over and over again, right? 1779 has been a while, right? And the bell is cracking. The signs and signals it's trying to share with us, right? It's cracking. And I feel like that renewal there, listening to those signs that Spirit keeps telling you, set sail, get around the mountain, keep doing this thing, just keeps being ignored. So really listening to signs in your environment. Maybe you hadn't realized that you'd been getting signs from Spirit. Maybe you don't have that connection yet. But looking at the birds, looking at your landscape, looking at numbers, trying to figure out the puzzle of the signs that you're seeing intuitively, because you have quite a lot of intuitive abilities. So if you aren't aware already, do feel free to check out my psychic abilities and magical gifts. Pick a card reading so you can look into those for your own if you haven't already. But the last charm that we have here is the goat, or the mountain goat. When I look at this one, it makes me think of something feeling like it feels solid, right? Like it's a statue. It represents a statue. It represents looking at something that feels already set in stone, like your path is already set in stone. But there's more to carve out there. There's more in that story. It also says celebrate too, so I feel like there's a lot of celebration when you follow your intuitive path here. Some of you also might be a Capricorn. There's a stubborn energy that's coming in from that as well. But overall, that's everything that I'm really seeing here within your charms and your cards. I do hope this was useful over the next couple of months for you in career. If it was, do be sure to give this video a like. Let me know in the comments down below. And if you'd like to, like I said, I put out new readings every single Monday. I already have over 100 pick a card readings on my channel that you can check out. And I do some educational readings and videos on art magic, on charm casting, on tarot, and other things. So if you're interested in any of that, do be sure to subscribe. And if you'd like to support this channel and keep this space running, do be sure to check out the Kindred tip jar. Everything that goes in there goes straight back into the channel, and being able to continue making these readings for you, continue keeping and supporting this space really does make a huge difference. So thank you. You can also check out the private readings that I have down below for snail mail readings as well as digital readings to not only help yourself but also the channel too. So do feel free to check those out. Check out my Instagram, subscribe, comment, like, all those things. Thank you for joining me here today. I do wish you the best in this big crossroads that you're going through. Listen to your gut. It's definitely trying to speak to you. So in the meantime, I'm wishing you the best, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.